This Ag News Update brought to you by American Implement. Indebted to the past, committed to the future. In a moment, we talk farm credit.
Would you like to see something done about high gas prices and low unemployment? Western Place Energy in Campus, Kansas is doing something about it. They're a proud part of Growth Energy, America's ethanol supporters, and they employ 38 people and will be adding more following the expansion. Ethanol fuel not only reduces the cost of regular gasoline, it's good for the environment and keeps money right here in the United States while supporting local rural jobs. Western Plains Energy, doing something for the future.
The cost of everything has gone up dramatically over the last 75 years. With one exception: keeping electricity affordable.
Wheatland Electric, delivering energy for life, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
And joining us now is Tim Cook. He is the Chief Credit Officer for Frontier Farm Credit Services of America. Tim, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. Pleasure to be on.
Well, interesting times in production agriculture as we wrap up what has been very much an interesting year that agriculture's had to play in it. But one of those things that we continue to read reports and see things from the Federal Reserve Bank that agriculture is going to come through this, albeit with some help. But kind of what's the 3,000-foot view that you see ag credit and helping production agriculture?
Yeah, interesting to say the least. You know, as if we back up to maybe 3 or 4 or 5 months ago, things looked pretty bleak for agriculture. The cattle sector was having trouble getting cattle killed, and corn and soybean prices looked pretty tough. Now, as we fast forward to today, as you reference, it looks like overall farm profitability for 2020 is going to be very, very strong. There's no doubt that the farm program payments have, as well as the disaster assistance payments tied to COVID, the CFAP payments, have had a big impact on that. But I think we'd be remiss if we didn't recognize that the overall commodity price environment and the most recent rally is a big component of that as well.
Well, it is, and we've talked with other folks and go, well, that helped in 2020, but looking at 2021, a lot of those things won't be there, and so we're going to have to find some place for all these crops to go.
Yeah, well, and that's the positive thing. You know, it looks like we've entered into a demand-driven market. You know, these last several years, it's been the supply side that's really driven any price rallies we've had. But with China coming back into the market in a big way for U.S. crops, both corn and soybeans, and it looking like South America is, at least for the time being, having some weather challenges, I think there's at least some short-term legs underneath these crop prices that we're seeing, and we're optimistic. And if we look at the futures market, there's certainly an opportunity for producers to hedge some profitable levels for 2021 as well.
Tim Cook is the Chief Credit Officer for Frontier Farm Credit and Farm Credit Services of America. We're going to take a break, and we'll have more with him in just a moment.
When you've had a best friend for over 50 years, you develop a trust. And the Scott Co-op has been a trusted rural friend since 1957. A co-op keeps money in the area, doing business for and with their members. And that helps keep their hometown thriving with keeping money in the community. Scott Co-op is not just an elevator. It's the rural way of doing business. So, when you see an elevator, remember your friends at Scott Co-op. S&S Trailer Sales, with 2 locations in Ness City, Kansas, is where everybody goes to buy or rent trailers. They feature the all-new, all-aluminum Mauer grain trailer with all of the electric options, the easy-to-load detached trailers, and a huge stock of header trailers. At the west location, you'll find bumper poles, goosenecks, and oilfield specialty trailers, along with flat and utility beds for pickups. S&S Trailer Sales in Ness City and on the web, but remember, you do have to spell out the "and."
And our guest is Tim Cook, who is the Chief Credit Officer for Frontier Farm Credit, as well as Farm Credit Services of America. And Tim, we've kind of set the stage on kind of where we got to where we are now. So let's talk about credit availability, opportunities for maybe farmers paid off some of those loans or banked some of that. How are we looking into 2021?
You know, as we come off of 2020, we've talked about we think overall profitability is going to be pretty strong. Some of the ad hoc program payments that we think will help restore some of the working capital that's been lost the last couple of years. So, you know, as we look at 2021, we think producers have an opportunity to lay off some of the risk on the commodity price side and maybe even focus on whether it's rolling some equipment that has been deferred the last several years. You know, we also think there's going to be a pretty robust real estate market this year. Prices have been pretty stable, and we think those will continue to be supported by the low interest rate environment that we've enjoyed these last 6 or 7 months, as well as, you know, a reasonable level of real estate that'll be on the market and available for sale.
Tim, and that's what I think 2020, it's been a kind of start-stop when it came to real estate. There may have been months or weeks that we saw a lot of sales, very strong sales, and then there was times when people held back. And still, every day, there's still more things that we're not sure about moving forward with the COVID situation. But there's probably a lot of land that is ready. Those generations have inherited it or whatever that maybe want to exchange that into cash.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things that'll drive, you know, as we talk to realtors and real estate brokers, they're anticipating a very busy year for real estate activity. As you mentioned, you know, when COVID hit, a lot of things stopped. And, you know, auctions that were scheduled either had to go to online or they were canceled altogether. So I think that rolled forward. You know, we've got a change, or at least what looks like a change in the administration coming in DC, some uncertainty about what does that all mean from a tax standpoint. And as you said, every year there's just a normal amount of estate activity that happens. So I think the confluence of those 3 components is also what will contribute to possibly higher real estate activity this year.
All right, Tim, we appreciate your insights on kind of where we have been and where we're heading, and interesting comments. So we appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, glad to do it.
Tim Cook, who is the Chief Credit Officer for Frontier Farm Credit and Farm Credit Services of America, has joined us. Stay with us. We'll have more coming up.
Wolfter Construction and Irrigation has been around a long time, and a lot of folks have trusted them to design, build, and service all sizes of commercial and on-farm storage for grain and equipment. Wolfter is also known for their outstanding irrigation division, where they stock a complete selection of nozzles, regulators, drops, gear drives, electrical, and structure components. Looking for an electric motor? Wolfter has a large selection in single and 3-phase. Next time, reach out to the pros who have decades of experience at taking care of business the right way. Wolfter Construction and Irrigation.
1030 KBUF has ag programming throughout the day, beginning a little bit after 6. We have featured interviews with newsmakers, market updates, news from the world of agriculture, and that all-important weather forecast. Be social with us on Facebook and Twitter. And remember, you can listen to any Southwest Broadcasting station online at westernkansasnews.com. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching.